Welcome back to Just Scarp Radio on BJPenn.com. I'm your host, Cole Sean, episode 164. We got a good lineup here ahead of UFC St. Louis. First up, we're going to be joined by Diego Ferreira to preview his fight against Mateusz Rebecki. This is a really intriguing matchup. Diego kind of stepped up on short notice. He hasn't fought in a year after he knocked out Michael Johnson, so kind of chat about him with what's been the layoff, what's been the reason for the layoff, and kind of how this fight came together. Of course, Rebecki's supposed to fight end of April. Against Joel Alvarez. That fight didn't come to fruition. So now he got pushed back 2 weeks to fight Diego, and Diego's really looking forward to this fight. And kind of he knows he's at the tail end of his career, so he's ready to kind of make one last run. We're then going to jump by Chase Hooper to preview his fight against Vajev Borshev. Chase undefeated since moving up a lightweight 2-0. He's looking good, but he knows this is a tough fight against Borshev, who's a very good striker. Chase calls this that perfect striker versus grappler matchup. He knows if the fight's on the ground, he's going to be winning, and on the feet, that's where Borshev is going to have some success. But really good shot with Chase, who's expecting to be a dad soon, so he knows a win here kind of starts making him more money, working him away at the rankings, and kind of getting these bigger fights that he's after. And then we close things out talking to Terrance McKinney, preview his fight against Esteban Ribovics. Terrance hasn't fought since October of last year when he knocked out Brandon Marat in 20 seconds. So I hadn't talked about him. What kind of took so long to get a fight, and he fights Ribovic, who's coming off that win over Kamela Kirk. Before that, lost a decision to Lloyd Radzhabov. He's never been finished, but Terrance believes he has that power to knock him out. But really good chat with all three guys. So be sure to share the show, subscribe, and tune in next week for another episode of Just Scrap Radio. Yep. All right, we're jumping UFC lightweight Diego Ferreira, who's back in action at UFC St. Louis on May 11th. Diego, how's it going, man?
Doing great. Colin, this here getting ready for this one and on short notice, but I'm excited for it.
I just want to start there. Like, when did you get the offer for this one? This one kind of came together. Obviously, you weren't. Rebecca had a different opponent. When did you kind of know that you'd be filling in here?
I was getting prepared for another fighter. And when the matchmaker, oh look, I have this fight, but let me see what I can do for you. And I told him I want to fight as soon as I can. I was getting ready. I was staying in a good shape, especially because after my baby girl born, I didn't even have a really time to get back to fight again. So I told Sean Sharp, hey, anything, just call me. I'll be in my weight. My weight is low. My condition's good. So I got like probably 4 weeks notice. The fight, I heard he was one of his opponent back out. I think got hurt, something like that. And that's when I called Sean Sharp. Hey, I want to fight him, and I'll be good. So he's a great fighter coming up, and give me a chance to go in there and see what we can take this win.
Oh, what kind of was the reason for the layoff? Like, it's been about a year, like almost a full year since you last fought.
First was my baby girl born. Now I was supposed to fight on a car from on Vegas on the I think Independence, the
Yep.
Mexican Independence, and I did go through because my little girl born, and after there I have to do things on my business, my gym. We have to move to one place to another, you know, and kind of slow me down on my training. And I'll telling myself, no, let me get back to my training after the all this time off. I need to be prepared to get another fight. And after my last win with Michael Johnson, so I want to take a good time to recover to my body because I was kind of having a lot of injuries, along my career. So I took this time to really recover, taking care of my business, take care of my baby girl. These are my
Mm-hmm.
first baby girl, so I took a lot of this time to focus on that point. So now I kind of really want to come back and see. I'm not see, but make sure I didn't lose no time to get a good opponent and opponent to get back into the cage.
Uh, are you worried at all with the weight just on short notice?
Not really, because of the way I said, I was really getting prepared. I was with my weight real low right now. Exactly, I'm weight at 168. I feel great, feel in good condition. I was getting prepared for another fighter, so I knew another fighter was gonna be a wrestler. So I was putting a lot of time on that, and I feel good. The most important to fight is the feeling. Now I know the conditions are important, but the feel sometimes, like if you feel good, if you injuries free now, anything's nothing's hurting you. Uh, if you that's really important. So I think that for me right
Mhm.
now, the point of my career is really important for me. And then uh, I don't want to get in there like the way the last time when I fought Mateo Mateo Suit, what is his
Mhm.
name?
Gamrot?
Gumrock. Yeah, I was hurt, and that's not an excuse. I lost. The man was better than me on that day, But I don't want to get to that point no more. I don't want to, be going to a fight when I'm hurt. So now I take that time out the way I says. I took that time to take care of my injury, take care of my really my body. So the short notice was perfect. It was not like too much last time, but it was perfect. 4 weeks. I was been training for the last six months. So the short notice, I think it was be perfect for me.
With Rebecca, like how familiar were you with him?
I know he's really aggressive fighter. He's a southpaw, throw bombs. I seen his first few fights on AFC. He throw bombs, and great wrestler.
Mm.
So I think that matchup for me to prove myself. I can put some work to look at my defense because after my fight too with Benel Darush, it kind of, make me step back a little bit and work on that, work on my rest and work on my defense. So I really want to test myself on that. So this is a perfect match for me. And I've been working a lot of my coach Safe, coach Rica Vendon over here on my boxing and my wrestling. So I feel like really good on this match. That's why I kind of I did it kind of not avoid. I'm gonna say, I step back off the now when Sun Shelby offer me, I say, yeah, this is gonna be a good fight. We both like to throw down. So and then he throw like a lot of power, and I like the guys like that. I like when they really going for the fight,
Mm.
not just win by points or anything. I like to having a good fight to put a good show. So I think he's perfect on that point.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then?
I see more he's trying to like the way he come forward, come fast, and I'm trying to take my time, trying to adjust it to his game. He's gonna come forward the whole time with his overhands and then powering his kicks. So I'm looking for that. I'm really trying to take advantage to go for the takedown, taking my advantage on my jiu-jitsu, explore a little bit more my wrestling, my jiu-jitsu, and trying to see how sharp I'm still on my hands, how fast I am still in my hands, especially after my last fight with Michael Johnson. So I'm trying to gonna try to explore every single point of this fight, not just wrestle or not just doing jiu-jitsu, but really trying to put a good show for the the and that's the thing too. We've been fighting. That's gonna be my first
Hmm.
fight for a while, fighting in the crowd. So in Missouri is gonna be be really special for me after what maybe 4 years. I've been 3 years not fighting on the front of the crowd. So I'm excited to that point too. And this is a great event. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, it would have been what the when you fought on the Connor Cowboy card against Pettis. Wouldn't that have been the last time?
That was my last one. That was my last one fighting from the crowd. So I'm expecting that good energy, that good feeling, the crowd calling the my name, calling his name. I'm really looking for that. That's what I think. It brings me a lot of energy, bringing me a lot of positive uh, uh, energy to myself. So I'm really excited for that too.
Where do you think a win puts you in the lightweight division? Like, obviously you're out of the rankings again, but a win year, like, wouldn't be surprised if you're back fighting a guy in that top 15.
Look, my dreams now, like it complete change after a while. I before I didn't have that goal to be in going for the title, going to be on the ranking. But now I feel like, after get a little wiser, a little bit more, mature, I feel I can get there, like I feel I deserve to be in between those number five guys. So I'm looking, me shooting to get back to the ranking, at least to get back to top 15, and after there, I've been telling my coach, I've been asking my coach to fight Bobby Green. I think that's gonna be a good fight with me in hand. And after this one, if I can get back to the rank and fight Bob Green, and it's gonna be a good one. But I know first focus on this guy. Mateus is a danger fighter, but you know, I'm trying to dream my past. I mean, I'm not just thinking about it only, but I'm trying to dream my past after this, and I know I can get back to the ranking and see if it sooner I can get back into to the top five or top three right there, shooting for the title. So I'm really dreaming about that now.
Just final thing, like, what is the goal then for you this year?
This year, stay busy. I really want to fight as much as I can. I spent almost 1 year, uh, like do I say, taking care of my business, take care of my injuries. So now that is take care. Gonna be a little bit aside. I want to focus on my career in UFC. So my dream now is really trying to, in the last maybe next 2 years, uh, getting close to the title as much as I can. Get not to think too much ahead, but this is the reality I want to looking for right now for me and my team, especially because now I have a great team with team Forters. We have a good lightweights coming up, so I'm really pushing myself to go in there and trying to get to the top of the rankings. So that's what I'm looking for this year.
Well, Diego, I appreciate the time as always. Thanks so much for doing this again.
Take all. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time too. I appreciate for everything.
All right, we're joined by UFC lightweight Chase Huber, who's back in action on May 11th in St. Louis. Chase, how's it going, man?
Good. Just getting through training camp the last couple weeks here, and yeah, ready to get back to business.
Uh, haven't fought since November. Like, were you surprised it took this long for you to get back in there, especially at lightweight? Like, I thought you'd be able to fight a bit more often.
Yeah, we've been in contact with the matchmakers since December, just being like, hey, can we get booked? Can we get a fight? But yeah, I don't know if they had their ideas for wanting this fight to begin with, back then, and just trying to play that out or what. But I'm happy with the matchup. And I'm happy to get back to work. I was hoping for 3 fights this year, but the way they're booking me, it doesn't quite look like it. So take what I can get.
And fighting Borishev, like, was this a surprise, or is this kind of a name you thought of, or was it just kind of whoever they offered you?
Well, they offered it. I think it's kind of it makes a lot of sense. I think on their end, it's an exciting fight. Two guys trying to, I think they're trying to test how I'll do against a very heavy striker, and see how he'll do against a very heavy grappler, to kind of see who's ready for that next kind of jump up in the division, that type of thing. And we're both finishers. It's going to be an exciting fight. If it stays on the feet, that obviously favors him. If it goes to the ground, that favors me. Makes for a fun matchup. It's very black and white. But I wouldn't say I necessarily sought it out or anything. But I wasn't super surprised. Like, we were on the same rotation. I fought on the same card with him last May, and then in November he fought, I think, the weekend before me, the MSG card. So that's kind of how it goes sometimes in UFC, is like guys that are just on the same rotation will end up fighting each other. So I wasn't super surprised, but I think it's a very winnable matchup, and it's an exciting one at the end of the day.
I was a bit surprised they just didn't run him back with his last fight, just because it was a draw and it's a pretty exciting fight.
Yeah, honestly, watching that fight, I thought he lost it. I would have gave it to the other guy, to Sadyakov, but I don't know. I don't know what the judges saw, that type of thing. But yeah, no, that was a great fight. I definitely won't be trying to bang it out with him the whole time, though. So
What have you made of his UFC run? Like 2-2-1. Like it's fought some pretty tough guys like D. Casey, Mike Davis. Like it's had a pretty tough run to begin his UFC career.
No, definitely. I think he's, everybody has a tough road in UFC, but he's definitely fought some top-notch guys. I just think I think part of the reason again they're making this matchup is because he's had issues in the past with grapplers, and I haven't had the best time with strikers. Sometimes, I've had some run-ins. So I think it's definitely a test to see who's ready to go up to that next step. But yeah, no, he's had tough fights. I think a lot of the guys that he's fought though are trying to strike with him the whole time, and obviously the ones that are striking with him are the ones that are, maybe losing. Like the Mahashate win for him when I was on the card with him in May. But yeah, no, I think he's good enough to be in UFC. I just think he's very one-dimensional. Obviously, like it's kind of weird to see a team alpha male guy that's not a grappler. And he's older, so I don't think, he's adding a ton of crazy new tricks to his game. Yeah, I mean, it's an exciting matchup because, I have to be on my toes. I can't fall asleep at the wheel on this one. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun matchup, and I'm looking forward to it.
I know you've, like, obviously home is out west, but you bounce around kind of gyms in between camps. Like, where was kind of the majority training for this one?
Honestly, stayed home more. There's a gym up in Seattle, Ivan Salveri's team. We've been cross-training with them a little more for the sparring. I just felt like I wanted, like I love all the South Carolina guys, but it's, obviously, my wife being pregnant and stuff, I don't necessarily want to be gone for a week at a time in South Carolina. And I feel like that karate style is kind of going to be the opposite on the striking end of what I'm going to see. Like they're all very counter striker heavy, where I need a guy that's going to try and walk me down and, box me up. So that's kind of more what we've been seeking out this camp. Somebody that's going to try and trade in the pocket versus, stand long and using like a lot of kicks. So just trying to find the right matchups for the camp. And I think we found that. So hopefully it'll show here in a couple weeks.
And for this one, like you're striking, like obviously you had the Steve fight, you had the fight against Caceres. Like, do you just think like your chin, everything is going to be a lot better at lightweight?
Oh, for sure. I felt that like the whole time, really. Like I think everything's honestly been better at lightweight. So yeah, I think I've been performing a lot better, and obviously it shows. 2 wins. It's yeah, I think the jump up to lightweight was definitely needed, and I'm feeling it in the training too. Like again, training just as hard. I'm able to take shots and not, have any issues. Knock on wood. But yeah, I mean, the lightweight's where I need to be right now. 45 was just too much. And yeah, but even that being said, I still need to be on point. Like I need my defense tight, especially with a guy like Borshev that's going to try to, he has really great combinations in the pocket. But, if I'm letting him tee off on me, I messed up a little earlier in the night. I need to rethink my strategy if I'm trying to bang with this guy.
How do you kind of see this one playing out then?
I mean, I touched on it earlier. I think it's a very black and white matchup. Like, I got to grapple him up. We'll see how well I'm able to implement that, where he's going to try and beat me up on the feet and try not to get wrestled. So it's really going to be figuring out who's able to get to the area where they're going to win where they're going to win easiest. I'm going to win the easiest on the ground, where he's going to win easier on the feet. So really I'm trying to push the pace on him. I feel like his cardio, he definitely slows down in the later rounds. But I feel like mentally he's really solid. I haven't seen him break in any fights, which is, it makes it a little tougher. He obviously hasn't been finished yet. And like any starts of the rounds, like after he gets grappled, he's always going for the kill. Like he's trying to really make up that lost ground. He's a veteran, like with all the K1 type stuff that he's done in the past. But yeah, I don't know. I think the grappling, I have a hard style to replicate. I'm going to be a little lankier than him on the feet. And yeah, I'm going to try to grapple him up, obviously, and take home that win.
He is a very tough guy to finish. Like, he's never been finished, but I know, like, you're kind of grappling. It is easier to get a submission than it is to knock a guy when they're that durable. So, like, do you kind of think if it is a finish, it is going to have to be some kind of choke or something?
Honestly, I think it's really hard to do jiu-jitsu against people when their one focus is defense. Like the last fight, like Jordan was trying to attack submissions. He was trying to be offensive, and that's how I was able to catch him. Where I know Slava, he's going to really just try to get up as fast as he can. So those guys are sometimes harder to tie down. I think TKO positions are honestly, depending on the ref, one of the easier ways to finish a fight. You just kind of have to tie a guy up, hit some hard shots, and they call that versus, a choke, they're going to let the guy go out. In armbar, they're going to let him snap his arm. So I think a TKO is a lot of times the easiest way out. But really any finish would be nice. I'm planning for a hard 15 minutes. And if it goes less than that, then, that's a good night.
What do you think a win here does for you? Like 3-0 at lightweight. I feel like it has kind of been a step up in competition in all three guys. Like, where do you think this kind of puts you in the division?
Yeah, I mean, I think that kind of puts me sort of towards the outer end of the ranked side of things, like not into the top 15 or anything, but there's like tiers, I feel like, especially in lightweight because it's so big. So I think that'll move me up kind of the tier right below the bottom of the ranking guys, kind of where someone like a Patty is right now, a guy like that. Yeah, I think a win like that would start, again, moving me up towards that type of thing, towards some of these more named guys, like some of the vets. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out, hopefully.
What is the goal then for you this year?
Well, honestly, get this fight, get this win, hopefully, and then, let my wife have our baby and all that, adjust just a little bit. Just kind of feel out the not getting to sleep type of thing, and then get back to work. Like I said, I was hoping for 3 fights this year, but it's kind of not looking like it based on how UFC's booking me right now. I think the earliest I would like to get back in there after May here would be like September. I wouldn't mind a little birthday spent in the octagon, but yeah, we'll see. Just obviously 2 wins would be a nice end of the year. Sorry about that. If I get 3 fights, that'd be great. But yeah, we'll feel it out. See how it goes.
Maybe getting on that spear card. That thing, it looks like it's going to be so cool fighting in there.
Yeah, that'd be a good time. I would probably have to fight somebody Hispanic, like a Latin American. So I'd have to look at some of those guys and see what, try and pick my shot.
Well, Chase, I appreciate the time as always, though. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you. Good talking to you.
All right, we're Jumbo UFC lightweight Terrance McKinney, who's back and actually on May 11th. Terrance, how's it going, man?
Great, brother.
Fighting in St. Louis, like in front of a crowd. How excited are you for that you're back in front of a crowd?
I'm excited. It's a tough opponent, and I'm excited to show people that like I'm ready for that kind of heat again, and yeah, looking to get the job done, no matter if it's first or second or third round.
Yeah, I was trying to think. Last time in front of the crowd would have been Brazil, right? You passed 3 Volvin at the Apex.
Yes, sir. And then my debut was in front of the crowd, so. Yeah. Ain't nothing now. I'm pretty much a veteran. About to be my 9th fight in the UFC. And, yeah, it's time to get a number next to the name this year.
Is it a surprise to you that, like, for how exciting your fights are, like, win or lose, that you have most of your fights have been in the Apex and they're not putting you on these cards in front of crowds?
Yeah, I'm surprised sometimes, but I like the Apex. It's less stressful out there for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then your opponent, Esteban Ribavocius, like, what do you know? Like, how familiar were you with him?
I wasn't too familiar, but I saw his fights with Claude Kirk. Kid got a great cardio, great boxing. But we see some areas where we can exploit him.
Was this someone you wanted to fight, or is it just who the UFC offered you?
It's who they offer, and you guys know me. I'll fight whoever they tell me.
Are you surprised it took you this long to get back in there? Like, your last fight was in October, and you made obviously very quick work of it.
I know. Maybe they had to get their rotation and rounds in, but finally we're here. We're still looking to get 4 in this year, so we're looking to make this a flawless victory come May 11th.
Going into this fight, like, is your confidence, like, is it higher than what it was, like, just being on a winning streak compared to, like, a couple fights when you're on the 2 fight losses, or is it all the same for you no matter what?
No, there was some doubts after getting knocked out. I wasn't fighting like myself. But through prayer and the right coach and the right people around me saying the right things, we were able to reinstate the warrior back in me and be the killer I know I am.
With this one, like, how do you kind of see it playing out?
And you're a winner by knockout.
Yeah.
Terrance McKinney. That's just how I see it. I put it in the universe. God guides me. I put the work in as hard as I train, and we're gonna show this levels to the game.
He is a guy that's never been finished. Like, his one loss went the distance. So, like, do you kind of take pride in that, where you can be that first guy to finish him?
I always like those challenges, you know. Drew was never dropped before till he fought me, and yeah, so we're looking to do the same again. Show people that this power it's not only in first round anymore, but it's gonna carry to all 3, and yeah, it's gonna be shown at a certain point in the fight. He's gonna crumble through the power, and I truly believe that.
Do you expect him to wrestle you pretty early?
Once he feels my power, I bet he'll start wrestling. That's what I assume.
And for you, like, how often are you working on your wrestling? I know you something like I don't really like. I don't think many people realize that you kind of grew up wrestling and grappling. Like, is it pretty funny where, like, everyone when they talk about fighting, it's like, oh, you just got to take him down to the ground, like, just worry about wrestling them.
I just feel like I could do that stuff and be like Mahal and them, but I'm here. I don't like playing it safe. I like taking risks, and I'm here to put on show, win or lose. Like I said, the fight game's quick, so like why not test myself in areas that I need to grow in, and that's just what I'm about. See if I'm really the best fighter, even when I'm standing up. Because what if there's one person that I can't take down, and I gotta stand up? So that's what I prepare for.
Does fighting in front of a crowd, like, add any, like, extra pressure, like, to perform, or, like, put on a fan-friendly fight, or do you think that's kind of how you fight? It's always bound to happen.
It just yeah, that's bound to happen. But it's nice being in front of a crowd because I know like we're gonna be in the U.S., so like more people's gonna know me, and just hearing that crowd cheer your name, and it helps you get that boost of energy to just push harder. So I'm excited about that.
And you'll have a pretty big reach advantage. I think it's like 4 inches on him, 4 or 5 inches. Like, how important do you think that will be for you?
Everything, and that's why we're gonna make sure I'm getting the jab activated and just making sure the footwork's right. And we know he's gonna have to swing big to get in, and he throws the hooks, a lot of hooks, and we're prepared for that. So straight shots, like I said, just beat him to the punch. Use more speed than power.
Who are kind of main guys you're working with? Obviously, you always work with Kevin, them in Texas. Like, who else are you kind of working with?
A bunch of boxers. My boy Dion, Mike. Yeah, a lot of people. David, Christian, Aaron. Like I'm always traveling, going to different gyms, and just trying to get the best looks I can.
And do you ever work with Derek Lewis? Like, I know not with him, but like ever in the gym? Because I know you guys are all in Houston together.
No, we train the same like area a couple times. Whenever I go to Main Street with Bob, he's sometimes there. Yeah, and he be working hard.
Is that cool to be on his card then that he's the main event of?
Yeah, it's super sick to be on a card with one of the people I look up to. Dude makes a ton of money. He's lovable, and yeah, just be taking notes.
What do you think a win here does for you? Like, you're a guy, you've been fighting a lot of tough guys from the get-go in the UFC. So, like, where do you think this win kind of puts you in the division?
I think it puts me back in the mix, and we get another fight like a Drew Dober fight,
Mhm.
and that's perfect because, like I said, we want to start shaking up the rankings this year, and yeah, we get a fight around there, Drew Dober rematch with Bobby Green or Grant Dawson before a ranked fight. It doesn't matter. We'll take any of those guys.
Is there a name in particular, or is it just kind of whoever they offer you, as long as it's a quick turnaround again for you?
Yeah, I'm trying to fight right away. I'm trying to get on that McGregor card. So,
Yeah.
hopefully, me and Bobby Green were cool, and I think that's just a fan favorite fight. So, Lord, when all goes as planned, that's what I like to fight next.
It is kind of funny where, like, for a while now Bobby is, and then Frivola was for a bit, and we're all calling out Patty, and like, I don't really think any of you guys are going to get it. Like, have you kind of given up on that for now? Where, like, don't think UFC's really going to give them to you?
Patty's probably gonna fight someone who don't hit hard, so he has a chance to win. You know, they're smart about his fights. He got to fight a guy that's not gonna knock his block off. You know, and end the hype. So UFC smart about the money they invest. So I'm not wasting my time on that. It'd be cool if we fight one day, but I bet we will when we're both ranked. So I know eventually I'll be seeing him soon, within the next year.
What is the goal for you then this year?
My goal is to win this fight, and then fight Bobby Green, get ranked, and then yeah, I'm trying to get Dan Hooker before the year ends. That's my goal, and then start the year off right, sitting in a great spot, and yeah, go for the belt, get the right fights, fight for the belt.
Just last thing I want to touch on is obviously Kevin's fight against MVP. Like, what you take away from that? Because he is a very, like, frustrating guy to fight.
Uh, just making sure I'm using every aspect of my game. Remember, this is not a kickboxing fight or a grappling match. This is an MMA fight. Make sure I'm using my feints and making sure I'm mixing it all together and not just being one track minded. You know, just give the person as much to think about as I can. And I kind of see that's what made MVP hard to fight because he was feinting, he was darting in. Sometimes he'll fade away, and sometimes he'll stay right there and do a spin elbow.
Mm-hmm.
So just making sure I'm being creative and yeah, like I said, utilize my footwork and keep my hands up so the counters aren't there.
Do you think Kevin kind of fell into the trap of just striking with him and not really worry about the wrestling? Because in that second round when he wrestled, like, that was kind of the most dominant round there was.
Yeah, and then after that, I'd say it was just hard to get him. The dude was moving good,
Mm-hmm.
so just making sure we're kidding angels, feinting punches, just adding that to the game. Some feints would have been nice, stop him from running a certain way, or a high kick and then shooting. Like I said, just making sure we're mixing it up as much as we can.
Well, Terrance, thank you again for the time. As always, I appreciate you doing this.
No problem, brother. Stay